Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we are going to study Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse number 3. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatang api siddhanang kasching mang veti tatvataha. Translation. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So this is Krishna speaking, God himself, and he's saying this spiritual path is not so easy. Many men, there has been many men who attempt spiritual progress, but they fail at some point in time and they get bewildered. And out of those who attempt or aim for perfection, then even within those, only one will get to know God as he is, or in a better way. As he says, know me in truth. Hardly one knows me in truth. So this is not to discourage, but to realize that, to understand God is not an easy thing and it's not a cheap thing. One must perform the necessary work, and if you're not willing to do it, then you're not going to be successful. It's like spiritual life takes a whole lifetime. If we compare, for example, if I want to be a doctor or if I want to be a lawyer, I have to go to school so many years and get diplomas and get certified and etc., etc. And it's not a cheap thing. One has to actually learn a lot. So in the same way, when we take to actual spiritual life, it will not be a cheap thing that, oh, okay, now I'm a spiritual man, now in a week or a month I'm graduated. No, spiritual life takes time and effort, and it's a lifetime thing. The beginning usually is the part that's a little bit of a struggle, because one has to quit so many bad habits and change many things. But then later on, it's more of a steady climb and not so much of a rocky mountain road. The thing is, God, he's very, very esoteric, and there's many points of view in which you can see God. One can see God as a friend, or as an enemy, or as a child, or as a servant. Not a servant, but in the mood of a servant. So there's many perspectives in which one can see God, and many religions are limited by this perception. Like some religions, for example, they won't even allow you to say the name of God. They argue that you will contaminate the name of God or something like that. But there's so much fear of God that I can't even approach him. So it's not that God is a mean man, that he will get angry if we call his name, but there's religions for all kinds of people, and very few of the whole human population actually take to religion. Maybe, 20-30%. And now those who take to religion, maybe a few 1% of those take to an actual spiritual path, and not just some external ritual, but they actually want to succeed in knowing God or in their particular religion. And out of those, very few, in fact, get to know what are the activities of God and what does he really want. It's just very rare. It's not impossible, but we should understand that the most valuable things, well, they will take effort, they will take time, and they are not a cheap thing that I can just pay $1 and I'll get the knowledge. I cannot pay that to the church that by the time of death I will go to heaven because I paid for my space in the church. That's so ridiculous. So why is it God so hard to understand, and why is it that spiritual life is difficult? Well, there's many factors to this, but the first one is that we're in the era of Kali Yuga. In this era, everything is degrading. Over time, society, culture, knowledge, intelligence, memory, all these things are degrading. So as Kali Yuga makes more progress, then less and less people will be spiritually advanced, and more people will be more materialistic and more greedy and things like that. So this is one symptom of Kali Yuga. Also, another reason is that we are conditioned souls. We have chosen to get away from God. So when someone takes to the path of loving God again, well, it's like saying that a prisoner suddenly becomes a very nice man. He's in prison, so it's very rare that someone who has the mentality of a thief or a killer, that they will just suddenly change or even want to change. So it is very rare. Out of many prisoners, maybe only a few will actually behave properly to get out of that situation. So that's another reason. And another important reason is that the lack of spiritual teachers or gurus who are qualified. There are many organizations who teach spiritual knowledge, but their leaders are more fallen than their followers. So it's like, I'm going to lead you, but it is compared to blind leading the blind. So if there's a big pit and I'm blind and I have blind people following me, I cannot save them. They will fall into the hole, and I will fall into the hole also. So there are all these disadvantages. The good thing is, well, that in this era of Kali Yuga, the predicted or the suggested method for spiritual advancement is chanting the holy name, which is extremely easy. If you just know the names of God, then you can just sing them, and you do this every day with musical instruments or alone in a kind of meditation which is called japa, and then you make spiritual progress. So the way or the method for achieving spiritual progress is very easy compared to other times before, which it was many years of meditation or big sacrifices, which now are very hard to do. So this is, again, an advantage. And the other thing that's in your favor is that if you are really sincere, if you really want to understand God and the spiritual path and achieve pure love of God, then God Himself will arrange your circumstances and the people that you meet so that you encounter that qualified person that can guide you, which is called a Diksha Guru, the initiating Guru. Right now I am acting as an instructing Guru, or another Guru who is the one who introduces you to this knowledge for the first time. So that is good. But Diksha Guru is the one who gives initiation and gives offers a vow to serve and to be steady in spiritual life. It's a very beautiful process. But if you're sincere, you will find the right person. That is my experience, and if you study your own life, you will see that whatever things you desire, automatically people that have that desire or that will fulfill that desire come into your life. And God has this very, very unique way of arranging your lifestyle so that whatever lessons you have to learn, He will put the right people and the right circumstances so that you learn the lesson. And if you don't learn the lesson, He will put a harder situation until you learn. And then you will take to the next step. that's all automatically arranged by God Himself and by nature and by the results of our previous activities, karma. So all this is going on. But one should never lose this confidence that I will make it in spiritual life. I can achieve success. Maybe there's only 1 in thousands, and maybe it's very rare, but we don't have anything personally, individually, that would disqualify, that we can say, oh, I can never do that. If a man runs 100 meters in 10 seconds, maybe I could say, well, with this body, I cannot run that fast. But in spiritual life, there's no such limitation that one can say, no, I cannot love God. No, this is the nature of the soul. So that means everyone can do it. And if you're just really sincere, committed, determined, and all these good qualities, then automatically God will arrange that you meet the right person and that you're guided properly to achieve spiritual success. If you have any comments or questions, please visit our website, thevedicway.org. Thank you. Hare Krishna.